Yo, people. Welcome back to another episode of the Cape and Don Show. It's your boy Capers Pauser. I'm with the one and only Don. And nice and early, make sure that you hit the like button if you're tuning in on both streams, hit the subscribe button. And Don, later start than usual, but how you feeling today before we get into the proceedings?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Just trying to catch a little munch as well at the same time as well. Got home a bit late, but yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm gonna chat about Arsenal and all that kind of stuff as well. Been a while, isn't it?
Yeah,
Been
it's been a
watching
little
them
while
playing.
since I slept. Yeah, last week I was on a plane. I think during
Oh
the
yeah,
Wolves game.
how was your trip?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was nice. Though. It was nice and relaxing. But weather was a bit windy there. Can't lie to you, but
Mm,
stayed in a nice little resort, so it was nice
yeah.
to just enjoy a couple of
Where'd you go
days of
again? Where'd you go? Malta.
Malta. Yeah,
Mm, I
so
don't
a
mind
couple of
going
days
there.
of relaxation in it. But
Mm,
um, yeah, man. Obviously, as I said, as it says on the screen, guys, get your likes nice and early into the stream. Shout out everyone in the chat. Shout out Waveland. Shout out the bro. Hope you're doing good. Go subscribe to his channel as well.
Before
And
you, before we start, yeah, you know Waveland, yeah, he's in our group, yeah.
Capo.
He's Capo.
Hmm.
He's Mandem, you know.
Yeah, I know. I was watching you man streaming. I didn't know that he
Okay,
was.
so I don't need. So I don't need to. I don't need to.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
He's
need.
he's man them, and not only is he man them. I like his viewpoints. I like the way he sees the game. He
Mm,
seems like he
mm,
comes from my rub the green, not just from
mm.
the ends in it. So it's from the way definitely will shout him, but obviously shout him out, and obviously shout everyone else that's in the chat as well.
We got Waveland.
Um, but yeah, we're doing this show after the North London derby, not right after, but obviously a couple of days afterwards. The first week, I think, in a long time where Arsenal have had a game midweek. Um, so it's been a bit of time for some, I guess a bit some calm. I don't know about you, like an element of reflection and looking forward to, and obviously I guess it's coming off the back of one of our best performances of the season. Caveat, obviously Spurs with multiple injuries. Spurs, that's probably the worst team we've played in my opinion all season in the league. Um, and obviously Arsenal played some good football, but that came off the back of obviously a disappointing result against Wolves, disappointing performance as well. And a lot of alarm bells ringing obviously days before that game. Um, can Arsenal bounce back? The pressure's on. City, are they back in? Can Arsenal play the football? And I think almost all the questions were answered in that game for me in terms of just the response in terms of just the next game. Obviously, it's easy for the players to get up for North London derby, but I think they were able to come out, play football, exploit all the weaknesses of Spurs, and really show their stuff. And I think to a man, and both the guys that came off the benches, all the guys came off the bench as well. I think the players played very well, deserved it, and they've kind of, for me, they've given me what I need to see from that game. That I'm really looking forward to that Chelsea game and expectant. And I guess the confidence and not the confidence, yes, the confidence and the good feel has been restored back to me. Obviously, the Spurs game went on past. Obviously, what did you feel about the game and how did the game made you feel? Obviously, a couple of days afterwards.
There's a lot to unpack. When you go into a game like this, already confident that you're going to win, there wasn't like that was my expectation to beat Spurs anyway. And as you said, Spurs are poor. But even if they had their greatest team out, I was expecting to beat them. I expect to go to 3-point lane and pick up my points every season. That's the expectation from them. As you said as well, it's a good confidence booster for the lads as well. But sometimes these games, yeah, you just have to just like so in isolation. We beat them. We were poor previously in the Wolves game in terms of our execution. I would say more application than execution because we did score 2 goals.
Yeah,
The Brentford game, do you know what? Anyone on their day can get something from Brentford, yeah. All right, Brighton beat them, but still, yeah, they were up for it more than us. And yeah, so the disappointment, I suppose, if you look at it over 5-6 games, I think it's what two. Was it 2 wins in what 9 or something like that? Is that correct
It
or
was in 7.
something like that? I remember Waveland saying there's a similar pattern to Man City as well in terms of like the games won, drawn, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So, but still, that 2 point gap, man, it's nervy. Um, and I just feel to myself that from now we need to kick on. Right, every game, just go into every game with that winning mentality, like we did against Spurs. You know, that attack-minded mentality. You know, get the ball up to the forward players quick. You know, and you know if you don't shoot, you don't score in games. And we just proved that. You know what? If you take your chances, you score in it. And yeah, it was a good display on Saturday. Sorry, last Sunday. Sorry.
And how's that game made you feel going forward? Like, I know, I don't know. Once I won't speak for you, I don't know how you're feeling before, but after the Wolves game, I'm pretty sure we're feeling a lot dejected. Obviously, the points gap is narrowed a lot from what it could have been, and obviously, I'm not saying it's changed from that point because it's still the same. But in terms of just your feeling, have you kind of restored back to, not saying the belief, but like the positivity? Or are you still like weary?
I'm going into every game with optimism, but I also have to be kind of like cautious as well because this is Arsenal, and you know Arsenal on their day, if they're not up for it, you know, and the other team is, we can get. I suppose we can draw games. I'm not worried about losing games because we've only
You
lost
don't
three
really lose
games.
games, yeah.
We've only lost 3 games this season, but the draws do catch up. I think we've got 7 draws so far this season, and it's like it's a thing of like week to week now. We have to win our games because it's almost like matching with City from week to week. City win a game, we win our game. Next week, Arsenal play first, they win their game, City win their game. We just have to go into each game with the attitude that we're going to win each game. So I suppose the answer to your question is, do I believe that we can go into each game and win each game? Yeah, I do believe that. However, you know, there is I suppose a little amount of caution as well.
That you're gonna apply
Depending on how we approach these games as well. You know, it all depends on the players as well, what they're feeling like that day. Are they up for it? It's all these factors. I believe, but do the players believe? And that's the main thing, not what I believe. It's what the players.
Yeah. No. I think you say some great stuff there. Obviously, I think it will be senseless to not move with caution, or at least not doubt, but more like you don't want to go overzealous in every game. I think optimism and confidence that we can win is what you should have, but not going all like, you know, arrogant and blind is not what it should be. And as you say, that ultimately that confidence from us doesn't mean anything if the players don't show that. And I think, as I always say, I personally take what Mikel says in his press conferences seriously, because not just because of the people that like the guy. I think he uses the press conferences purposely. I don't think he doesn't give me he doesn't give me like he's a stupid person in it. So I think the Wolves' second half was shambolic, and it's something that can't happen if you're trying to win a title. It can't happen, and I think the players know that. And I think the reply against Spurs, it wasn't just like it was a derby, and I feel like Spurs were trying to do the emotional thing, fouling and physical, and also just kind of played it as football. Like, fam, just keep calm, move the ball, create chances, score goals, get out of there. Even though it is a North London derby, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it felt very cold. It felt very mature. It felt very like, no, like we're kicking ourselves. Like, as you said, everyone's always talked about the only enemy of Arsenal this season is Arsenal, and Arsenal became their own enemy, and that comes from the application. I love that word that you used when you talked about the Wolves game. Like, it's not execution, because if you want to talk about most efficient and team that executes, it is Arsenal. But you can never doubt our application in it, and that was one thing. And that came from was our passing, the physicality, just the quality, the dare to want to attack. And I think all of those things were there in the game against Spurs. Obviously, the mistake from Rice happened, but you saw the way he took accountability. You saw the way he knew, and of all players that happened. And I think apparently he didn't lose a duel after that moment, which is the kind of thing you would expect from a Declan Rice, in it. Which is these are the things I want to see. It's all caveated with obviously it's Spurs, and obviously as AFC always says here, obviously shout out AFC always says light work lane, as it has been 4 wins in a row there. I think it's the first time in Arsenal history that we've won 4 North London derbies away in a row. I think we beat them 5 times in a row. I can't remember last time they beaten us in the North London derby. I couldn't actually tell you off the top of my head, but I don't. They're in their own situation, and I don't really need to focus on Spurs in this pod. But it's I think the Chelsea game is the game that I expect, and I feel I think we're gonna win. I'll say it from there. I'm confident we're gonna win, and I feel confident for many reasons, and we'll get into it when we get into the game a bit later. But I think it's more you can expect the North London derby was the perfect game to come right after the Wolves game, and needing that response because it's a game that doesn't need a coach to say anything to you. The players should know, and I guess they showed that. The Chelsea game is different. I'm not saying it's not a London derby and it's not a big game, but they're not yet, fiercest rivals. There's no like historical kind of connotation behind the game where it's like the players are gonna get all up for it because of what the game is. And obviously Chelsea are a better team than Spurs, way better team than Spurs at the current point in time. Obviously, yeah, they have certain injuries and suspensions that's going to probably affect how they line up against us. But we're at home. And I think I saw that in our last 10 games, we have 7 home games in the Premier League and 3 away games, which is insane. I think City might have 7 away games and not 3 home games, I think about 6 away games and 4 home games, which obviously those things count. And obviously we've got a lot of our tough fixtures out of the way, so there should be a lot of winnable home games that we should expect to win. Obviously, I'm not saying Chelsea is, but we have beat Chelsea in 4 of the last 5 times at the Emirates, and I think Chelsea coming in this moment, they're looking a bit vulnerable defensively. Their manager, you know how he is. I think he's struggling to. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into him, but I think he's struggling to impose whatever. Maybe he lacks a certain type of aura that's necessary. Obviously Chelsea also is a difficult club to manage. They're in the top 4 race. I don't expect them to come and play like how they played against us in the cup. I expect them to try and come out and play and try and win, and expect it to be an open game, and expect Arsenal to capitalize and play in a similar way to Spurs. And I think that's where I'm going to really take my full confidence if we play in a similar way to the way we played at Spurs in terms of just the intent, the quality of passing, the pace of passing, the will to want to take on a man, play central, play it to people early, take shots, as you said. Then I'm going to be like, if we win the game and we show that type of football, I'm going to be very confident because I'm like, this is like a turning point. Like the Wolves game, and before then we're talking about stale attack and lack of quality in passing and lethargic play. But the last 2 games that we've had has been swashbuckling, has been exciting. We haven't complained. Like, I think what was the greatest thing about the Spurs game was there was a lot of like gilt-edged chances missed. I remember Saka 1v1. I remember a couple of 1v1s. I remember, a couple of guys could have had a couple of Saliba. I'm saying there was chances missed, but we didn't. No one mentioned any of those chances because it wasn't like those were the only one gilt-edged chance of the game that were like, oh, a guy missed, because we scored 4 other goals. Do you know what I mean? And that's what football should be, and that's what we should be doing. So going into that Chelsea game, like, what do you want to see the most in it? Like, I know you're confident about us winning, but what do you want to see?
I want to see the same what I saw at Spurs. Open, players having opportunities to open up, score. Gyökeres, as you saw, a couple of opportunities, few opportunities he had, he buried his chances. I think Chelsea, they don't play with like a low block team. They see the thing is with Chelsea, yeah, their motivation is to stop us from winning the Premier League now. So this is another cup final. Every game is a cup final because, as far as I'm concerned, every single rival don't want us to win this league for some reason. Pagans, all of them. You're all pagans.
Pagan, brother.
All of them, yeah. And this
Chelsea,
especially the fan, yeah, big up Gunner Street in the building. All these Chelsea fans, they want to see our title damaged, even if we draw with them. They want to see our title damaged. So I can see Chelsea maybe maybe might start with a low block in the first half, and the same story always happens with us. If it's tight in the first half and we haven't scored, then maybe they come out in the second half with a bit of belief. But I do think we're a better team than Chelsea. People can talk about Chelsea's trophies and their world chumps and all this kind of stuff, yeah. But in the Premier League, we've been a much better outfit. We're a much better team than Chelsea right now, and they've not proven in the last 5 years that they're better than us in a head-to-heads, especially in the Premier League as well. So if we're about our business on Sunday, then you know what, we'll put them to the sword, and you know what, it'd be on to the next game. I don't respect Chelsea that way. You know what I'm saying. You know, big up to Palmer and all them, man. They're Reece James, but you know what I mean. They're not the same. They're not the same Chelsea from yesteryear, man. You know what I mean. They're a team, or they're a club with a confused identity. They love to be in our position right now at the top of the league. A lot of teams cuss us out, yeah, but they wanna be like us right now. They want to be in our position. They're only gonna say like, "Oh, if you lot bottle it," and all this kind of stuff. But you have to be in that position to be able to do that. So, you know, them man can concentrate on top four while we concentrate on winning the league. And yeah, I've got no like Spurs. I ain't shook of Chelsea, man. And when you've got a mentality to win the league, yeah. These last 10 games, I can't be shook of anyone, bro. Not even City. Listen, we can talk about City at some point. I've got chest for every single team, right? 10 games, bro. 10 games we've got to play.
That's just it. Obviously, everyone, I'll say, any questions you get in the chat, just make sure I'll star them. I'll get them in at a certain point. So get some questions as well as we want us to answer. Obviously, we'll definitely get into it. But I'm with you, bro. And obviously, you know the chest that you know the kind of chest I show every day, bro. So I don't need to, take off my hoodie or anything to show that. Like, I'm confident with my team for so many reasons, and I think as you said in it, it's 10 cup finals left. It's Chelsea, man. Like, they're a good team, and I expect them to come out. As I said, their situation, as well as trying to derail us. Obviously, they want to get top four. Obviously, everyone in and around top four is kind of, playing around. So the points is quite close. So they need to try and come and win in it. Obviously, they've drawn their last two home games. They will have respect for Arsenal. It will be interesting to see if Rafinha plays a similar way that he did in the cup finals. He kind of went low blockish or went defensive and tactical. I don't think there's points on the board now rather than trying to make a game stretch and all that stuff. Like, you can't afford to kind of just lose a half. So I'm intrigued, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing that they're gonna back themselves to want to try and put the game onto Arsenal. And I think obviously with the suspension of Fofana, the injury to Correa, I think obviously you could say they're two, and obviously I know James is back, and I think James was very, very pivotal in that 1-1 draw at the Stamford Bridge, obviously man of the match in my opinion. So he will be a player that we have to try and make sure that we nullify, but I think he'll probably be playing right back, and obviously they're probably gonna have to play a makeshift, Chalobah, or not Chalobah, Tosin, or maybe a Gusto left back, and that I think will feed into Arsenal's favour, especially Arsenal coming in week's rest. Last week's rest before, I don't count international break before, end of the season, if we do stay in all comps, and I think the players will take that rest, a couple of days off, good feel, and come back and be locked in. We want to give our fans and our home crowd a good game, and I think we could have another City, not City scoreline, but another very, very good, very, very good performance from us in it. Like, if we just apply ourselves and play, the attacking football, play quick, play with quality, play with some urgency, obviously to want to score early, kill the game early, and put that pressure and dictate the narrative of the game. Like, you want to dictate the narrative of the game in terms of putting that pressure on the opposition, and also not making them feel like they can afford to attack you in it. Like, if you constantly put pressure on an opponent's goal, they're going to be wary of trying to send a lot of players forward, because they know they leave spaces that we're going to capitalize in terms of our transitions and our passing and our execution. And I think that's what I want to see for the rest of the season, and I expect, because as you said, I don't fear no one else in this. I don't fear anyone else anyways, but I don't fear anyone else, and I think Arsenal players don't. And I think we just got to approach the games like that and try and put them to bed and approach the games like that. And I think that's where it is, obviously. So I'm confident. Obviously, before we get into any lineups and any predictions of the Chelsea game, let's talk about a couple of players. Uh, Obviously, Eze, North London Derby King, 5 goals in 2 games. Obviously, I think apparently his last shot on target came in the last North London Derby, but obviously um, played well against Wigan. I know it was Wigan, but I really enjoyed that performance. I'm pretty sure you did as well. I know we were talking about it in the
Mhm.
chat, and obviously didn't get the start against Wolves. Mikel said in his press conference that Eze was knocking on his door. It was upset about not getting that start, and like now he feels like he knows how to use Eze or what Eze needs. Something like that. I can't, maybe I'm misquoting him. And
Mm.
obviously, you saw Eze was very influential in that performance. Obviously, caveat again, Spurs, the way they opened up the defense and all that stuff. But I think it is translatable, and apparently, like yeah, like I don't. You've always been balanced in your view of Eze. Pretty sure I
Iron
have as
balance.
well.
I'm joking,
What is
joking.
it?
Go on, go on. I got
No, I mean
iron
balance.
balance.
Like you
Oh, yeah.
said, like obviously, same with Gokras. Like you said, obviously, it's the first season in a team. Like yeah, you
Yeah.
want the players to play better, but you have to also give perspective. Like it's hard, and obviously, the hardest team to adapt to is Arsenal as well. But I think Eze playing, I think apparently that he's not ever played this amount of games in a season before. This is the first time, or by the end of the
Mm.
season, he played the most. Like there's a lot of adapting, and I think coming into his own at this point in the season, this seems like the type of player that would do it. Like, what's your thoughts on Eze and obviously going into the Chelsea game? Do you want him to start, and how influential do you think can be moving forward for the rest of the season?
Oh, very influential. Um, this guy needs to start games, man. He needs to start games. You can't score goals and then be put on the bench the next game. It just doesn't make sense. This guy's Eze's like that right now. That's how he's feeling, yeah, right now. And if he goes on the bench next game, then it doesn't make sense. Equally, he can play against Chelsea and have another nightmare. This is football, and anyone that doesn't understand that, then I don't know what you've been watching all your life, but you have to go with the player that's on form in it, and he's brought the form against Spurs. He's also showing that he can work well with Gyökeres as well and the players around him as well, and he's forming a good relationship with the players. There's a good sense of togetherness with the players when Eze's there as well. And Eze's a good character, man. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, when he weren't playing and we weren't getting starts and stuff. Yeah, I was low key vexed because Eze is a man that ain't gonna complain. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he might be like a little sulky and that, but he's not gonna complain. You know what I mean? He do the professional thing, but when he gets his chance, he just has to prove. He just has to prove everyone that he's on his thing, because a lot of people are doubting him. They're expecting a lot more from him. As fans, we always expect more. You know what I mean? So if Eze scores 2, we're gonna expect a hat trick against Chelsea, and Spinaroo Booker T thing again. But nah, Eze's a very likable character, and his energy around the club is I can't even put it into words. Do you know what I mean? And like, for him to come back to his boyhood club, yeah, and to see him on the last day lifting up the Premier League trophy, I think man will cry. And I'll be honest with you.
I'm not ready for those
I'm,
times, bro. Like
I'm
emotionally,
not
bro.
just saying. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, because
I'm
I
not ready
know.
for how I'm gonna feel, the feeling I'm
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
feel.
But
That's why I haven't
anyway,
even thought about that. But like, I agree with you,
I'm
man.
speaking
Like
a
I
bit too.
think,
I'm going a bit too mad.
yeah, I
Let me
agree with you
calm
though.
down.
Like I think Eze has to start, and I think he will start. I think Mikel is one of those guys that does reward players when they play well and they score goals. He doesn't. He believes in form, of course. I know Odegaard is back, and I'll get into a conversation after we finish our lineup about a couple of things, and I wanna see your take as well. But like I think he's the kind of guy that can affect games. He's got that swagger, as you said. He's got that infectious energy, and I think he's a very likable character. Um, I think as long as we play the way we have been playing, and players, and I think it has to be very much player led. I think we can blame the manager a lot for dynamics and tactics, but I think like the players are the ones out on the pitch. The players are the ones getting paid the money. The players are the ones that will get the plaudits, and they're the ones that can affect the moments, innit? You're the ones that have the talent and the technique and the magic. You're the ones that can read and play in within the game. Like if a game is there for you to take on two man, and because that's what can be done, then do it. If a game is there to play in behind, then do it. If a game's there to force the issue wide or force it century, then do it. Like it shouldn't. At the end of the day, we're trying to win a trophy. We're trying to win trophies, and we're trying to win a prem, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to win. Like so, you don't want. At the end of the day, you want to get to the end of the season and say, "I've done everything I can to make sure we got it. I didn't just allow things that were in my control to not be controlled." Do you know what I'm saying? So I think I'm happy with Eze, and it's the same thing with having that patience with every player, and obviously same thing with this next player that I'll get onto because I think Eze will be very important in that Chelsea game, and obviously in the Champions League as well. I think will be very very important in those tight grit games where they need some magic and you need some, and there's a lot of space, and I think him not even having those experiences playing in that Champions League, I think he makes his name. So that, but that's the same for a lot of players, and I think it's the same for obviously Gokeres, who obviously got two very very good goals, and I think overall his performance was very very good against Spurs, and obviously Dragic is shit. Let's just call a spade, and obviously that gets favours into him. There are things Gokeres needs to improve on. I won't really focus it on now, but I
You know
think
what makes me laugh though? You know what makes me laugh though, buddy? You see, you just said that, yeah. Yeah. When man like Haaland does all of that madness against bummy defenders, yeah, crap defenders, no one says that this player is shit.
I do.
You know, you see
I do.
that psychological thing. You
No,
think
I do.
But
Yeah,
when
no, because
Haaland,
it's just more. It's more like I just caveat things so that people don't get. People don't say I'm getting carried away, or people don't say I'm underplaying certain things, or not thinking about all the conditions or context in it. But like putting that aside, then I think he had a very very good performance overall. As I said, and then the goals were very very good goals. And obviously, I think as I said, he's got 8 goals, 2 assists in his last 12 games for Arsenal. A lot of his goals have been very good striker goals, I call them. Like so, a couple of them poacher goals in the box, a couple of them, good finishes outside the box, a couple of them, runs in behind, like all different types of finishes. And I like to see that in it. And he looks a bit leaner, or looks more
yeah,
leaner, I should say. Looks sharper, and I think obviously he's a player that's been under huge scrutiny, huge criticism, but got 10 Premier League goals right now. Still got another 10 games. Can add to the tally. And obviously, first season, I think I saw a stat also that he's only 2 goals behind Lacazette, who's the highest goal scoring striker under
yeah.
Arteta, and I think he's also 3 goals behind the
Daniel,
highest goal scoring debut season Arsenal player in history. I think apparently,
is
like.
it?
Yeah,
That's
apparently,
a
like in
great
terms of
one.
all on all comps in it.
Mm.
So like as I said, yeah, you have to. Things are always about perspective in it, and obviously, as I say, I'm not favorable of the player and his style, but I think I can respect what he does, and I really like the fact that he's getting into form. And I think if he can stay in this form and can stay playing like this, obviously, he's not going to start every game because I think we need every player in every game, especially if we're in 4 competitions, like 3 game weeks. But I think players in good form, I think bodes very, very well. Just what's your take? What's your take on Victor? Um,
Hold on. Chelsea, and then who's after Chelsea? Newcastle. Is it Newcastle? Is
what
that a
for
week?
us?
Yeah. Is that a
I
week
don't think.
after
I don't think we have Newcastle. We've got Chelsea, then we've got Brighton
Brighton?
away.
So is Brighton a week later?
No,
Or...
Brighton's midweek still.
Oh, okay, right, okay. I thought the games were being more spaced out now. So okay,
No. I think as I said, that's what I said at the top of the stream that this was the only
yeah.
week in like that we're gonna have a week off where we don't have a game midweek in it. Like I think, and it's
But
like a rare
international
week.
breaks, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Isn't it?
obviously I don't count that because the players still play in it. Like most of our players are international players.
Yeah. You're right.
And this is like the last international break
Yeah.
before World Cup. So if they're gonna be there, they're all gonna get called up. They're all gonna want to play. So I can't even see it as a break. So this is like apparently the players got like 1 or 2 days off, which they probably need, innit? So
Hold on, sorry. AFC says, why are YouTube taking down my comments? What have you said? AFC,
uh,
you
what
say
have
I
you
can
said?
see your comments, bro.
I
You
can
said
see. Let me say.
Arsenal.
You said okay. Let's put one. AFC always says Arteta should let the shackles off these players now. Trust in our defense and let the players play freedom. I agree exactly that, man. I think we have very good defenders, and we have a very good goalkeeper. We got a good defensive mid, and I think, especially in the beginning of games where we can kill games off early, I think you got to let the players play, and then obviously trust that we can see out games. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Shout,
Yeah,
shout out.
I don't know if you have
Mm.
any other comments. AFC always obviously shout out Dr. Seymour. He puts eyes. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on Gokares? Do you think he can continue his form? Obviously, going into what I call the playoff part of the season, the
Of
playoffs.
course, of course. He's growing in confidence. This is the thing. One thing people don't understand about this brother, yeah, he's got mentality. Even if people don't think he's all that great and his touch isn't this and all of that kind of stuff, he just keeps going. And we've missed players like that. We miss those type of players that the minute there's a bit of adversity, you know what I mean, they don't go into their shell. And you know what? Yokerez is that guy. He's that handy guy in it that you can rely on. That you know what? He'll always give you 100%. He may not score every game, but you know what? Yeah, he'd do his best to score in these games. What impressed me more than his goals on Sunday was his link-up play and the way, you know, he held up the ball in the second half. The round the corner flicks, you know, they're winning the headers, out muscling certain players as well. That's the type of striker that I want to see going into the last 10 games. I don't want to see a striker that's falling on the ground every 2 minutes, crying to the ref and getting his bum touch from a defender's hand. I don't want to see none of that.
Hey yo, hey yo.
Yeah, we've seen it with certain man them. Yeah, so you know what I mean.
Nah,
I
I ain't seen
understand.
that. I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I do understand that players are going to have to be rotated at certain times, but Arteta's got a big job on his hands, yeah, in terms of rotating because he's got these next 10 games, yeah, and Premier League, yeah, just Premier League talking, yeah. He has to have the perfect man management rotation for each single game as we go into the last 10. There's no margin for error, in my opinion. There's no margin for error. He has to be. No one's perfect in this world. We leave perfection for the Almighty. Yeah, I get it, but he has to be almost perfect in terms of his selections, in terms of
Management.
his application, as we said, man management. You know, just the way we go into games. You know, we can't drop. We can't drop, and there will be games in these last 10 games where we possibly might go a goal down. You know, we need to have that strength and mentality to believe that we can come back. There's going to be times where we make mistakes at the back. I don't think that this defense has been watertight as everyone makes out to be. Yeah, we're leaking goals, silly goals. You know, we're making our own mistake. We're making a lot of mistakes recently. So, as much as we rely on this defense, I think now it's time for the defense to get, you know what I mean, the favor back, and for our attackers to go out and score goals. I want Saka to score goals. I want Trossard, who's been really disappointing over the last few games. I don't know what's going on with him. I need him to fix up. I need Martinelli when he comes on to do something, because I can't be having these players in the last 10 games not putting in, you know, the tenacity, not putting in the tackles, not going, not trying to shoot, not trying to win, not trying to score. I need my players to be doing all of this. And especially when we go to City, I want to go to City games one, all my games one up to the City game. So City know they're in for a game. That's how I'm looking at the next 10 games. And that's how I'm looking at winning this title. We need to go into every game. Forget about Brentford, forget about Wolves. That's gone now. That's gone now. Spurs, it starts from Spurs and it starts from 10 games now. We have to win. We have to go into every game believing that we can win every game.
And it's almost like you read my mind where I was going to take the conversation to, but just to go to back on one, to segue off one thing you were saying about obviously Mikel using the squad and everything. Obviously that was back of the Cockroach talk. I think when Havertz is fit, obviously we know the players that aren't going to be fit. Obviously even Dalman is fit. Obviously the big usage as well, or a wild card usage, I should say. I'm not saying a reliant option. I think it just comes down to what game suits the players more when everyone is fit. Because I think as you say, like even Gokra's in form. He's not going to score in every game, and not everyone's going to score in every game. But it's about managing what games are best suited for those players and when to bring those players off the bench because the games is suiting this player more and stuff like that. I think is where he will make his money and make it easier for himself to win this league. Because obviously you can't always control injuries and when players get knocks and stuff, but you can control who's suited more for a game. And I think you can control how you motivate the players before halftime, but the players also got to take responsibility and play with that urgency. Play with no fear. Play with play with no fear is how you play with no with risk and how you play with the will to want to win. And then when you do win, then it's easier for the game to be managed and for you to fill the game because you're not like there was no point in that game against Spurs, obviously, and Spurs are dead that I felt worried about even when it was 1-1, as soon as we could see, I didn't feel worried we were going to not win the game or we wasn't going to come back because we were playing good football before. We played good football afterwards. We had the stoppages of the referees at some point in the first half, right before the second half. That didn't affect the way we played. That didn't affect the way that the players didn't ruin the momentum. Those things were the key things I was looking at because it's about mentality. Because we were talking about it on stream, and I think Mikel gets his coins. But as I said, this is where he makes his money and makes his history. Obviously, because it's the Arsenal have an opportunity to do something that they haven't done in a very, very long time, and that's not only win a league but win more than one trophy in a season. Um, I think the last time Arsenal done that was what in 2003, 2004. So like or 2002, 2001, 2001, 2002. So there's a lot of things at stake here in it, but I think that's what we have to do. And as you said, um, I've put the Brentford Wolves game out my mind, and it like we just have to be focused on it. And Arsenal need to go on that winning run. I think up until the international break, which I think ends, the Carabao Cup is the week before I think the last game for international break, if I'm correct, it might be. And we have an opportunity to go into that international break, send the players off to their international camps as with a trophy or to win a trophy, to have gone on a winning streak where you've built, 6 or 7 wins in all competitions. That means maybe progressing through to the next round of the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, and maybe either getting one leg through in the Champions League. I don't know if both legs will be played before. I see AFC's comment here always. AFC always comment here saying Arsenal versus Atalanta or Leverkusen.
Is that is
Um,
that
is
is
that
that confirmed?
confirmed? Or is that just what you're saying? I don't know if I know Atalanta are playing right now. I don't know if they won. And check. Yeah, Atalanta won 4-1, so I think Atalanta are through. So that would be our. I
Are we
think.
playing them?
So I think it'll be in the draw. I think there's a draw on Friday. So I don't think it's confirmed, but yeah, like also have a good opportunity to win a lot of games and get some good momentum, and then go into that international break with potentially winning one piece of silverware and coming back with all the players hopefully fit and firing to go for that last final run where you can finalize, a lot more. So as you say, just approach each game, win, play well, defend well, trying to really need to stop the mistakes and giving teams goals. Like a lot of teams don't really score goals against us. We give them the opportunities and really gilt edge chances to put the ball back in the net. Like we need to stop doing that. And I think we can really do something this season, man. Obviously, I won't have the graphics on the screen. Just would you make any changes to the lineup that started against Spurs at Chelsea? Would you go run the same 11? I mean, against Spurs, or would you run the same 11 against Chelsea? Or would you make a change at left wing for like Trossard, for
Um,
example?
just thinking of the team.
Timber right back, Saliba, Gabriel,
Yeah, no, no,
Hincapié,
no,
big
no, no. The back
back four. Big
force.
shout out to Hincapié as well, man. He's been very,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good.
yeah. He's got to start as far as
I
I'm
think.
concerned.
And obviously, what Rice, Eze,
Midfield.
Zubimendi, midfield,
Yeah.
Saka, Gokeres,
I
Trossard.
think the same team, I think the same team because I don't want to start Martinelli. Martinelli, I'd rather
Bring him
Trossard
off the
starts.
bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Martinelli's done well off the bench too. Yeah, I'll start Trossard in this game. I think he got better as the half gone on, even though I think he's not been at his optimum best in terms of just scoring goals and just decision making in games and stuff like that. I know he has had a couple of knocks and bumps here and there, not giving him excuses, but yeah, like I would want that team. They've had a week break. They played very well from the start, and I think you do that, and then obviously you have the players off the bench to make the changes. What would be your scoreline for that game?
Oof. Um, maybe a 3-1 to Arsenal.
3-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
I'm going 4-0.
Sorry?
I'm going 4-0.
You and your outlandish score lines, man.
I'm going 4-0 to us, man. The reason why I'm going 4-0, and before everyone in the chat obviously says I'm going crazy or putting too much chess or I'm getting too overzealous. I think if you look at it, obviously we've sandwiched between the Wolves and the Brentford game. We got 4-0 against Leeds, 3-0 against Sunderland. I think that's what 4-0 against Wigan, if I'm correct, or 4-1. I can't remember that score that game. Something like that. 4-1 against
4-1.
Spurs. Or 4-1 or something like that. So the team's scoring a lot of goals. Like sandwiched between those two games of staleness, there's been a lot of goals. 3-2 against Kyra, obviously got 3 goals there. There was a lot of shots in that game. Like, so I think that the team is scoring goals. I think Chelsea will play a game that will be open. I don't see them playing a low block because I don't see what a draw does for them. I don't think they have a great defensive team to do that. And I think the fact that they have, the likes of Palmer, Esteval, they'll have Caicedo in this game and such like they will be able to play more of a suited to their strongest
Yeah.
team going forward. So I think they want to take the game to Arsenal. I think they will back their chances, given still Arsenal's kind of shaky and mistakes in the last couple of weeks, giving teams goals, they will back themselves to
Yeah.
try and score. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think they'll be open. And I don't think they have the defenders or the goalkeeper, even though Sanchez had a better season, to just rely on trying to keep an Arsenal out. So, and they can't afford to just lose this game 1-0 from being defensive. I think their fans will be angry. I think their fans will attack them. I think they need to try and win. United are pushing for top 4 very well. They're in form 1 game a week and they're doing what they need to do, handling business. Liverpool are up there. Yes, Villa are looking shaky right now, looking like they're getting drawn back in, but Chelsea aren't looking like they're capitalizing. And their fan base are their sport fan base, so they still want to win something or be good, and they're not ready to accept. So that's why I put that to you in it. So, but probably 3-1 sounds more realistic in it. Let's get to a couple of questions before I get into something I want to ask you. So Football Overseas earlier says the question I want to ask the panel is: do you think the league quality has fallen this season than what it was in the 2020 season without being biased? Do you want to answer first, or should I answer?
Boy, your memory's good, ASU. What was the 2020 season? Who won the
2020
league?
season, I think Liverpool won the league. That was a COVID season. Arsenal finished
COVID
8th.
seasons.
Man City was very close. I think obviously had a bit of a drop off. Obviously, COVID season. I think Chelsea was still. I don't know if Chelsea just won the Champions League or the year before. There was all these kind of things. So that, like, you could argue, obviously, United were in and around, like, finishing that top 4ish kind of, place, and Spurs were still a decent team. Kane, Son, or those like. So, I think.
Go on.
I think the quality of player was probably better in terms of just throughout the top teams. I would say, like, the top teams, bar Arsenal, had like very good teams. Like, obviously City were at their pomp. Obviously Liverpool were at their pomp. Obviously Chelsea was still coming off the back of winning their Champions League, which you got to respect, and decent decent players. Spurs had a good set of players in their team. United always had good players, but obviously badly run team. But I think the rest of the league in those times wasn't good. Like, you had teams at the bottom of the league that were holding 4, 5, 6-0 weekly. Couldn't really ever compete with the top 6, home or away. And like you didn't really have players in the bottom teams that were great. Like, it depends how you look at it. I think the top end had better players and maybe better managers for those teams at the time, but then the bottom end wasn't that good. And I think now you have the middle ground that are very, very good, like teams like Fulham, Sunderland, Brentford, Everton, that they have good players. Like, go 1 to 11, you look at
What
the
are we
team.
talking about? Are we talking 2020-21 season?
Yeah, I think let's just say 2020 era, and then we look at this era today, innit? Yeah. because
That's
obviously I know
it.
it's hard to pin it to one season. I think it's just it's how you look at it. I think the top end had better quality, the bottom end and middle end had less quality, both in manager and player. And I think now the bottom end and middle end have better player and manager quality. And the top end, okay, minus Arsenal and City right now have, and obviously Chelsea, Liverpool, but they're underperforming. Like have like they're not two that you look like. United have good players, Chelsea have good players, Villa have good players, but like you're not gonna say those players on those teams are way better than players on like Fulham's and Brentford's and Everton's. Like, and the managers you can even argue aren't better than those managers. So it's like that's my opinion. I don't know about you though.
Yeah, he just put in a long way. Yeah, I'm putting a short way. Yeah, Man City from now to then, are they better or are they worse? Probably worse. So
Worse.
the league quality has gone down because I go from the top team. I don't go through the other teams. I go from the top team, and the top team's quality has got worse because they've not won the title in 2 seasons. They're second right now. There's an argument they might be able to win the season, win the league this season as well. But there's two arguments to this, and two things can be true as well. So, yes, the league quality might not be as great as it is, but also as well, yeah, as Cape said, a lot of the other teams also have improved. So, look at it too. You can look at it in two angles. Arsenal have definitely improved. What's that noise?
Yeah.
Oh, is that you? Arsenal have definitely improved as a team. The likes of Chelsea, they're on their building. Man City, Man United. Teams are the top teams, the traditional top six. They're in the process of rebuilds right now. We're in that rebuild, or we're in that cycle now where our players are like ready in it for titles. So it's funny how that question gets asked when Arsenal have been at the top of the league for such a long. And big up to what's his name, man? I know his name. Oh, I've forgotten his name. My boy as well, what's his name? Kyle. Big up to Kyle, man. Football overseas. It's easy for us to say, you know what I mean, that the league quality has gone down because Arsenal are doing bits in this season. But I maintain that it's a bit of both in it. So trying to just balance it out in it.
Yeah, shout out football overseas. Obviously, good question. I think it's one of those ones. It's a joint answer. It depends how you want to look at it. I just look at it like the quality's gone up because there's less room for error. Like you can't just expect to walk up to any team and get 3 points.
You think you could go to Fulham and City could go to Fulham and like lose? I'm not sorry, just win 5-4. Then man putting 4 past you just like
Yeah.
that. These as
Look at
well.
you got obviously Wolves have been dead all season, but they started to pick up results last couple of weeks and performances, even if they have lost. Burnley drew at Chelsea. They're organised team. I watched they look quite organised. Like West Ham are down there. They picked up some form.
Leeds,
Then
Sunderland.
you got Spurs. Then you got Leeds. You got Forest. Forest were difficult. Liverpool had to grind out that win against
Yep.
Forest. Forest got good
And they
players
lost
like
against
Leeds.
Forest as well, at home as well twice.
Fam, it's a big league, and then you look at in the top 8, like the top 4 race has got like 5 teams in there, and they're all decent teams. Then you go below that, and you got teams that are all good teams. There's a reason why. I think if the top teams were still very good, let's say City still had the City team of old, and Liverpool didn't get injuries this season, and the team just clicked, and Arsenal, that maybe people would say, "Oh, it's the best league ever," because then there's teams, the level will still be high, but then those teams might be performing. But easy said and done. Shout out CF football overseas, and obviously Gunner Street also has a question. He says, "How many wins do we get from our next 10 games? Are you? I'm assuming you're meaning all comps and not necessarily just per minute." He said, "Don't think we will drop points, or don't think we will drop points, or do you think we'll see a mad one? Do you think we'll drop points, or do you feel like we'll see a mad one at 23-24? I think we'll see a mad run at 23-24 because that's what it's going to take to."
Oh no, I think we will drop points somewhere, and where we drop points is probably the Man City game.
Yeah, but that's what I say. Like a draw. That was like the 23-24 one was what, like obviously 17 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, something like that. In it, like I'm not saying I don't know if we have that many games, but I think because that means we'll win everything. But I mean, in the league, I can see us going 9 wins, 1 draw. I'm not saying we're gonna do it.
Who's the biggest team apart from Man City that we got to play after Chelsea? Is it Newcastle? Because a lot
Uh,
of games are fighting. Isn't there teams fighting
we
relegation?
got we got no, like we got. I'll tell you our games in it, like in the Prem. We got Chelsea. We got Brighton. We got
Yeah,
Everton at home. Then we
yeah.
got Bournemouth at home. So those are
Okay.
both two top teams. That, top
Bournemouth could be a
top.
tricky game.
Yeah, they can be
Bournemouth.
tricky. I know Everton are down. Newcastle are down there to be fair, but they're both home games, isn't it? Then we got
Yeah.
Fulham at home. Then we got West Ham away, who obviously relegation, but I think West Ham away is a ground that's been
West
very
Ham
nice
are
to
one of
us.
them teams, isn't it? West Ham are one of
Yeah, it
them.
depends where they are, but I think, as I say,
Yeah.
like I don't rate West Ham in it. I'm going to be due
Mm.
respectful. Then we got Burnley at home, and then obviously Palace
Yeah.
away, final game of the season in the league, innit? Obviously, that's not counting. Obviously, any potential Champions League hasn't been scheduled into there, and obviously what we might do in the FA Cup. But just looking at the
Injuries.
league, specifically in isolation, I think we can go on that run because I think
Mm.
the players just know like it's crunch time. Win, get the title. There's nothing else really. So I think as the weeks pass by, if they're able to put these wins together, it will pile
Yeah.
up that way because
Yeah.
that's what's
Yeah.
necessary.
So if every time if we beat Chelsea, then on to the next one, Brighton. And if we start to stack up them wins, then you know what? To answer Gunner Street's question, I think probably we need about maybe 8 wins.
8 wins,
Possibly
1 draw,
8
1 loss
wins.
would you predict?
8 wins and 2 draws, I think.
Something like that, I think, will be enough, especially if those draws come against.
City, I don't think City are going to win every single game.
I don't think they win every single game. But I can see Arsenal winning trying to win every single game. Maybe we might not do it, but I can see us going on a run that is, like the last loss we'll say was the United game type stuff in the league. So that's what I want to see. But that's what I think is necessary in these next games coming up until international break, obviously, which is Chelsea, Brighton, Mansfield, Everton, the City Carabao Cup. And I don't know if the Champions League game gets fit in between a midweek between
Who we got in the Champions League?
Obviously, it's not been drawn, but we might get one of Leverkusen or Atalanta, I think. And I think that's the easiest side. I think easiest side of the draw. I think apparently, like if you get that side, you get one of Bodo or someone else in a Sporting. Apparently, in the next round, and I don't know stuff. I don't know. I haven't done the maths. So I'm not really gonna just speak out my ass in it. But pause. I think we need to win every game, as I said, going up to an international break, which will end with the Carabao Cup final. So I think that's the perfect way. If you can get momentum, win every game up to that final, and then win that final, whether that's on penalties or you win in the game, and then you go into national break with that celebration. Us fans, having a trophy to actually beat. I don't know how much people will celebrate the Carabao Cup, but obviously I will. And then have a week or week and a half to kind of reflect, and then really looking back into I think it'll be so good. So,
you see me, yeah. All of this is just a lot in it, like to go through the games now and just to think,
it's that time of the season where every game's gonna feel sick inside your belly still, until full time whistle or until the game's like 3-0 and you're like, okay, the game's done. You can kind of relax during the game. That's why I hope the guys can just kill games because it will really ease the tension in the fan base because we don't have to be in every 90 minutes panicking like, 1 goal lead or like. But obviously, some games are going to be like that. And we're going to have to be bold. But as you're saying, it's not going to be an enjoyable time because it's going to be hard. It's going to be enjoyable, but it's not going to be enjoyable in the moment of the games. Was the games full time and we got the win? Yeah, then it will be nice and obviously reflect on all that stuff. But
we will be there, people. Make sure you come
100%.
and the watch alongs, yeah, because the tension, the euphoria, it's all going to be there, man. Everything's going to be packaged. So make sure you're there with us.
Make sure you guys tune in. Obviously, and as you guys, make sure you hit the like button. Obviously, we've been almost an hour in. Haven't asked too much. We've just been enjoying the conversation. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe as well, both to K-Paz Pauser and Waffle Done channel. If you haven't already, just want to say one thing. Yeah,
we're just starting lineup, man. Oh no, we've done it.
We've done it. We've done the sun. I just want to say one thing, obviously, maybe before we even wrap up. Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot in it. I don't know. Maybe you might have been seeing me say it in the chat. Said it on my story. Said it on a couple of videos I've talked about. Said it to when I've spoken to people. I don't think I've spoken to you in it. Obviously, all of us Arsenal fans, we want to win. We're at that stage of the season where obviously we have a huge opportunity. We all have PTSD because we've been not in this particular situation where we could potentially go in all four competitions, but we've been in, at least to say look at the Premier League in isolation and like an opportunity to do it and not done it. But I think, as you said, where you're talking about where you've kind of wiped the Brentford and the Wolves game and you're just focused and you've seen the Spurs game as the final like run, like the final turning in a 100-meter run where
Yeah,
you finally turn that corner and you can't look at whether you've stumbled or buckled, in in the first 100 meters. It's like now this is the last 100 meters, isn't it? And
yeah.
I look at fan base and I look at our fan base and I think I've matured as a fan this season, innit? Like I'm a very positive fan, and obviously I back the team, I back the players, I back Mikel, but I've learn how to criticize when we lose and not get lost in the moment. And because I've criticized or even potentially lost my head at moments, that doesn't mean it defines how I look at a player or the team or the manager or whatever. And at the same time, I always solely just will back the players, innit? Back the team, especially where we're now. We actually can win stuff. From the beginning of the season, we had an expectancy when we first started doing our shows. We talked about what can we win this season, what do we want to win, and I think we both said we want to win the league, and then you said just do it, and I said we can win a double, and I was talking all this stuff in it. That's because we had an expectancy because the team, Mikel, the players has given us that in it. Obviously, we're arriving here now where we're at that stage where whatever we were predicting, feeling, wanting, we're almost there in it, and I just want us to do it. And whether we draw games, as you say, whether we have dull performances, whether we have whether the lineup that starts isn't the one that we want, whether certain players that starts or doesn't start or whatever, like I actually don't care. Like I don't think I'm gonna afford the team any negativity beyond if they do play bad or play like how they played against Wolves, which I don't anticipate us doing again this season. But let's just say that does happen.
Let me ask you a question because you've been asking me questions, and this is gonna be the negative question, yeah. What about if we don't win the league and we don't win the Carabao Cup? What then? Come the end of the season.
My answer to you, so I can get back on track, is ask me that question when we don't do it. So then that will answer me that question if we lose a final and poorly, or if we do drop off in the league. Remember, I predicted and said that we're not going to touch second again. I think that was in October, and we haven't
I
since.
know I'm not going to be in the country, bro.
Yeah, I know.
My answer, bro. I'm giving you my answer.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, ask me that question when it happens. I just don't like to put that energy. Obviously, that's just me, and I just don't want to put the energy or the thought in the air because I just want to know and think the players are not thinking like that as well. And I'm just not thinking like that because that's not what I want to happen. It's always something that's a reality and or possible reality. And as you said, like, I can't imagine what's going to, but I don't want to think about it because, as I was saying, like, it's gonna be tough. There's gonna be a game down the road, hopefully not soon, that we're gonna drop points or maybe play bad, or maybe another team's gonna play very, very well, or someone's gonna make a mistake, or we're not gonna win every trophy. And even though we're no fault, I don't think anyone can expect to win a quad.
I don't expect.
I'm not saying you do. Yeah, I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you do, and I'm not saying. I don't even think Boy 10 does. I'm shout out Boy 10. I don't even think he does, even if he says it. I think he wants to win it, and that's the same with me. I want to win, but I don't know what the last English team that won a quad. Can't tell you, couldn't tell you. So these things are rare to happen, innit? So I think you have to be realistic. But I think the thing is that ultimately, in a 2 months' time, which can be will go very, very quickly. We can either be, yeah, because we're in the beginning of March. March starts on Friday or something, and then beginning of May is when you already have end of the season or the last couple of games or so in it, finals and stuff in it. Like it's getting there, innit? And I just want the team to get there because if they get there, like as you say, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I don't know how I'm gonna act for however so long, but I do know that we're so close to getting there, innit? And we're gonna have drop points. We're gonna have poor performances. We're gonna have lineups. Like I know some people don't like certain players. Like some people don't call players by their number, or some people give them a nickname and all that stuff. And that's fine. I'm not telling anyone how to beat. But
let me ask you a question. Yeah,
go on.
Who's more in need? A poor person or a poor person that has a family? Who's more in need?
A poor person that has a family?
Right. So Man City, they're the poor person. We're the poor person with a family. We need this more than them. We need this Premier League more than them.
Yeah, I agree.
Believe me,
I agree.
they've got the Premier Leagues. We need
That's
this for us.
that's why I'm
That's why
saying that.
all or nothing, bro.
That's why I'm saying like we need. I'm putting it in pause, like all or nothing. I'm not doing
Uh,
the wavering thing. I'm not doing the like up and down thing, the roller coaster thing. I'm just supporting the boys until they do it. I'm not saying not supporting the boys. I won't support the boys when they don't do it. But I'm saying like in terms of I'm not gonna be like I'm gonna believe. Like when it's tough, I'm still gonna believe. When it's amazing, I'm gonna believe. And when it's pressurized, when it's gonna be as you said, when it's gonna be games where we might be 1-0 down. I'm still gonna believe, even if we're not playing, because I'm gonna want to assume that the players are also thinking the same way. Shout out Home Slice, it's going well,
I
and I
think
just want to, know what do you think? Like, what's your approach going into these last
my
two, is
approach
it 9 weeks?
is
Like,
my
are
approach
you
is
ready to put your you know, like Game of Thrones? You put your shield on. That's what's Knight of the Seven Kingdom. You get your armor. You get your thing ready. Have you watched Knight of the Seven Kingdom?
no. I need to watch that. Is that good?
Yes, good
It's
stuff.
cold.
Like you get ready,
I
you
saw the,
get your
I
shield, and you
saw
get
the
ready for
first
battle,
series
bro.
when man was taking a poo and that. And I was like, nah, why am I?
Yeah, that opening thing is insane.
Yeah, but anyway,
Obviously, big up as
yeah,
well. Big up
I
Nems
hear
as
what you're
well.
saying. I
Okay,
hear what
good.
you're saying.
But yeah, like
Yeah,
I'm just there to just lock in, and obviously, as you say, all the question you asked me is a reality. Obviously, I know a lot of fans are pessimistic and will only have the chess on when it's confirmed or when it's more all but confirmed or when we actually do it in it. And I can agree with everyone saying, but how I'm going to approach each game, how I'm going to approach when I talk about Arsenal to other people, which I already do anyways, how I'm going to approach when I think I'm going to analyze the games is with positivity. I'm going to criticize when I need to criticize, but I'm not going to fixate on any potential if we can't or if we won't until that is the reality of what is the situation. What the reality now is if we continue to win and to continue to play well, then we get to where we want to be in it. So, what's your
you
approach?
know,
What's your approach?
my approach is I don't give a damn what anyone thinks, bro. Yeah, do you know what I mean? If you don't want to hear the noise, then
Get out of the
just look
kitchen.
up. Yeah, for me, yeah, if someone's saying something that I don't want to hear, then I ignore it. It's as simple as that. People always in life, yeah, are gonna say negative, positive. This negative, positive rubbish, yeah, it's annoying to me, yeah, because yes, I'm gonna be vexed about games, yeah, but I ain't having no one tell me to be positive, yeah. If I want to be vexed and I want to have my little calm down time and all that, then I'm gonna do that. But the other side of me also says, you know what, yeah, fix up, fix up, because I've been down this road too many times. Do you know what I'm saying? And people, whether you like it or not, they're gonna have their thoughts. They're gonna have their PTSDs, PTSD, Guna Lee, and them man them. Everyone's gonna have their all of this and all of that and tell you how to be. I'm not telling no one how to be. Yeah, as I said, I'm a poor man with a family, and I need it more than these Man City guys. So yes, it's gonna hurt more that I can't feed my family, rather than someone that's poor. Do you know what I'm saying? That might get a little gold coin and still, do you know what I mean? Go out and have all the nice stuff. I need this thing, and you're gonna hear negativity. Yeah, we've got a group of man them that's gonna say bare things that you're not gonna like. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna. People are gonna say what they got to say. And whether you agree with them or not, they're going to say it regardless, because these men, they've had experience of seeing it, just like I've had experience of seeing it. And the difference between, I suppose, the positive fans, just say positive and negative fans, just put it that way, yeah, is that they both want the same thing. You know what I mean? They both want, you know what I mean, that Mercedes C63. They both want to get that C63. They both want a trophy. They both want a nice wife. They just got a different way of getting to there. And that's sometimes, you know what, you just got to you know what, I see, obviously things get tense in the group and all that with all of us at times. And you know what, we all have opinions, as long as they're respectful, then you know what I mean. It's gonna happen, isn't it? And people are gonna anytime we fail, people are gonna say stuff. There's no avoiding that.
No. That's not what. That's
You
not
know
what
how
even.
it goes. You know
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
not even
goes.
saying that. I'm saying
People
like,
like
but
to see it.
when we do win and when we do play well or when we're
Mm.
in form, we're getting
I think
close.
people are so happy. They're happy. They're happy
I
when we.
think there needs to be like a because I think as you said, I think you said at the top of your statement. I don't care about any opposition fans' opinion. I don't care about mainstream media. I don't care about anyone that hates Arsenal fan. Because whether you hate Arsenal because you hate Arsenal or you hate Arsenal because you hate Arsenal fans, I couldn't give a damn because that means everything you view in Arsenal is going to be with that hatred. But Arsenal fans need to not care because they need to recognize that everybody doesn't want. Like, do you have a Palace fan who's not involved in the title race that will come and say, "Oh, like I don't want you to win." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
not,
yeah,
you
yeah,
have no
yeah.
reason to hate on us, but you will
Mm.
be supporting whoever
And them
City.
now, bro. Look at all
So
them
that does.
channels
Do you know what I
waiting
mean? So
for.
that what that tells me, like what I realize is that it really feels like everyone's against us. Like I never see
Yeah.
anyone powering anyone else when they're in a moment of winning. Everyone gets behind them, or like
Mm.
everyone powers against us. So Arsenal fans, whether you come with a different approach, you have to realize it's like this is how I see it. You watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen Game of Thrones.
Ah, cool. You got Cersei, you got
Mm.
the Night's Watch, you got obviously the Targaryen, I can't remember her name, but Rhaenyra,
Mm.
or Daenerys. You got all that
Yeah.
in it, like, different. But the real enemy or the real battle was against the Whites.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And Arsenal, that's Arsenal fans. You got the positive, you got the impartial, you got the balance, you got the agenda, you whatever. And the real
Mm.
enemy and the real goal is winning,
UNC.
and the real
Yeah.
enemy is everyone else. But we
Mm.
internally fight ourselves, and everyone else. The whites are just coming in. They're developing their army, and they're like these men are shooting themselves down. Our job is going to be
Mm.
easier for us once we want to get to war with them. Instead of
Mm.
Arsenal fans looking at it and saying, "Imagine it's all of us against them." And what is that going to look like still? And maybe that's what happens when we win. Maybe. And I hope so, because that will look beautiful. But
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I have a very, very tickly feeling, and it's because of man like AFC boys, I'm gonna call you out. That man that will still say, even if we win, they're still gonna because then what that
He
does
ain't
is
saying none of that. He ain't saying none of that.
I'm
He
not
ain't
saying
gonna.
he's gonna say that when we win. I know him. He's just saying that right now. And when he win,
Mm.
he's gonna be the most positive. But you have to realize when we win, that's when all the opposition fans, all your likes of talk sport and all these nonsense people are gonna try and say, "Oh, it's your first one in 22 years. Oh, Mikel spent 1 billion in
Quality of
6 years.
league,
Oh, you should have won it 3 years ago. Well, if you don't
Mm.
retain it, this and that. Well, this Premier League
Yeah,
level's not the
yeah.
same.
They're
You're the
already
worst
trying to.
champions of all time. You guys have won set pieces. You guys, well, you if we somehow win Champions League, oh, Europe is not this. They're gonna do everything they can
Oh,
to
you
downplay
lot
it. And
didn't
what
match
Arsenal
Chelsea's
fans
record in defence.
do you know what I mean? You didn't do it, or you didn't get 90 points plus. So it's not what Arsenal fans need to recognize there is that in that moment, they don't like us. Even you would think when we win that they would praise us the way other teams have been praised, the way other
I don't
clubs have
care
been
about
used,
their
but they
praise,
don't
bro.
want, and that's what I'm saying. As us as fans, we need to stop battling each other and just be back the team because ultimately we all want to win. We all want to win.
People back
You
the
might not
team in
like
the way.
certain players, you might not like the manager, you might not be favorable of certain things, but we all want to win.
Hey,
And we're
you know,
confident.
BBK is probably watching this somewhere, yeah, and he's like taking notes for his show, yeah. People gonna just back the team how they want, yeah. People are emotional, I get it. Some people are hard back. Some people are just, you know what? We're a crazy bunch, yeah. That's why people look at us and rivals look at us and you know what I mean, call us
That's
deluded and
why,
all that.
yeah. But that's why they enjoy when we drop points. Them man are all like, fam. I've never seen media coverage like what it was after Wolves from everyone else that's not Arsenal. Like I
Mhm.
saw man like making content videos are on views. I saw all the Arsenal content. Like man want to see us downfall so much. And I'm not saying that means that you shouldn't crash out when you're angry, but realize what that's what it's like. They're like, yeah, man. Like we're not. You man are not really. You man rarely lose games or you only drop points. So when you man do, hey man, I gotta eat, bro, because you man still lose your head the same way as if you're losing games every week. And it's like, da, 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 like you talk to opposition fans off camera and that they will tell you, fam, I can't lie, I will trade to be in your position any day, anytime, every single day, fam. Yeah, da, 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 da. But fam, my team is dead. Da, da. You know, when they're not being silly or trying to twist an Arsenal fans, leg or something, innit? But as you said, innit, everyone's gonna support the team as they can. But I just hope that we win, because when we do, the one thing I know outside of our joy is that the madness that is gonna be, that man are gonna disappear from the surface of the earth. Man are gonna, like, do you know what I mean? There's gonna be some interesting conversations we're gonna have. Because same way you said there's gonna be interesting conversations if we don't win, there's gonna be some interesting conversations when we do win. And remember, I said when and not
Bro,
if.
that I don't know why. I don't know why that's your kind of like bane. Like, even if we do win, because people just gonna just like, yeah,
Yeah,
we
they'll find
won.
a different. They'll move the goalposts. But I'm
They're
saying
not gonna.
interesting
Yeah,
conversations where, like, I'm not hearing any rebuttal once we win, because all I've been hearing for years is such and such and such. Like, they let them win. So once we win, and if we win multiple, then I'm gonna be nasty. That's what I'm gonna say in it. But that's all I wanted to just put that out there. Obviously, I don't know if you have any final thoughts, Don, before we go. Obviously, we've gone with our scoreline, which was I went 4-0 Chelsea. Don went 3-1. So 3-1 against Chelsea, and obviously we've talked about many a thing in this pod. Do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
nah, man. 3 points against Chelsea. I hate them. Um, all them Chelsea, man. What is it? Carefree Lewis. What's his name? CB. Proper Chelsea and all them, man. There. I hope you, man, just take licks on Sunday, because I can't stand you, man. Yeah. Just want to silence you, man, because you, man, love to talk too much. Was. Yeah. You need a humbling on Saturday. Yeah. I mean, Sunday. So just come out my face. Sorry.
That's just it, man. 3 points, Arsenal. Secure that 3 points. Get a good win. Go into that Brighton game with some good momentum, and knock the games out. We'll have less than 10 games after the Chelsea game, and you're looking at, you can visually see the end. Do you know what I mean? Because we're almost at the end. Obviously, big up everyone that's been in the chat. Obviously, AFC always tragic, home slice,
Doctor.
football overseas, Gunner Street, Dr. Seymour, Nems, anyone else that's been in the
Oh,
stream. Anyone else, Capo as well, obviously big you up always, bro. But everyone else that's been here just watching, enjoying, make sure you guys, obviously, on your way out, just hit the like button, go over to Don's stream, hit the like button if you're tuning in from the Capers Pause side, and go over to my stream from Don's stream and click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate all the love, and obviously, fam, it's a big mental game, as Tragic says here, but as long as Arsenal do the work, go on a run, it will be an easier mental game. Let's just say that, man. Obviously, catch you guys on Sunday for that watch along for the Chelsea game. Make sure you guys tune in. We want to see some more of us. But we are signing out today, man. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and see you guys on the next one. Our people. Peace.